My next project is this piece right here. It is made out of wood. I'm not sure what the technical name for this piece is. It has the sides that fold in, and the art on it is lovely, but I feel like it's a little bit outdated. And the one good thing is it's textured. The paint kind of, it's not flat. The design on it is not flat, and so I feel like I want to give it a lighter color, maybe give it a little bit of a Frenchy look. Now I started this with the color black. It's called Little Black Dress. I use all Debbie's Design Diary paint. I'm gonna cover the whole thing. I'm not worried if I miss a few areas or not. I will tell you guys that I like things imperfectly perfect, so I'm not too worried about making this perfect. I'm gonna layer different colors just because I like to build up that texture that's already there from the previous art that was on there. I am using like a grayish color. What I really wanted to do in the beginning, which as you will see, it always changes when I start something. I just wanted the black base, and then I was going to do this gray color, and then I was going to put these rose transfers on it from Iron Orchid Design, but that just wasn't enough color for me. So I'm just going to keep adding and layering, and I think this is what, for me, makes things look better, when there's just all of that goodness of layering in different colors. Now that the paint has dried over the black and the grayish blue that I put on here, I am sanding it with the sand sponge just to make some of those, the texture and some of the colors that were underneath to begin with to come out a little bit. Because remember, I do like all of that texture, and you can see that where I just pointed there, that blue was a blue that was underneath, and so I like to have that come out. Also, now I'm going to add a periwinkle blue and a green, and this is just going to give it a little bit more textured, and it's going to sort of create that layered look of there's paint underneath paint of colors on this piece that I like those old pieces that have layers of paint and color. I just love that. So this is what I'm going for here. This is pretty much what it looks like. Again, I sanded a little bit more, so I have more of the colors showing through, and I just love all this texture goodness. This is the stuff that makes me happy in the look that I'm going for. So far, so good. So because paint color is not enough, we're going to add a little bit more texture. I'm using an Artistic Painting Studio roller. I'm grabbing some white paint, again from Debbie's Design Diary. I am brushing this onto the roller just to give it a little bit of an extra, I guess, to this piece. And once I have my paint brushed on here, I don't want it too globby, and I don't want it to be the exact in every place that I place this roller. It'll be more faint in some areas and stronger in other areas. So yeah, so all you need to do is, once you get your paint on there, is just kind of roll, and I'm not trying to line this up either. So when you use these rollers and you feel like there's not much coming onto your piece, you just want to reload with the paint. And I'm using, like I said, a brush here. And I'm just going to roll it onto areas. Again, not trying too much. I want this to look like a kind of an older piece. This is pretty much what it looks like now that I'm done adding all of the paint and the roller and sanding. I know it looks messy from here, but I promise you it'll look way better once I'm done. Next thing we're going to do is add a transfer from Iron Orchid Design. I love these transfers. They work great. One thing I do have to tell you that Iron Orchid Design recommends is that you, before placing these transfers on your project, that you seal your project with a sealant other than wax, but you should seal, especially if you're using chalk paint, because chalk paint, like I'm using, is kind of gritty, and sometimes these things will not stick 100%. I've had that happen to me, and as you can see, it will happen here too. I did not seal this before adding my transfer. Most of the time, They work great. Every once in a while, that does happen as IOD. That's why they give out that recommendation. But it's all good because, again, it works out. It always works out in the end. No need to worry. So what I'm going to do here, I just try to, well, I'm going to cut the extra. But these transfers are great. They come with grids, so you can kind of figure out where you want to put everything. And I'm just going to figure out where I want to place these. The one thing about this piece right here is that this transfer is pretty big. So I kind of had to cut the transfer where this piece folds, and then I will just have to try and line it up. So here we go. We're going to put the first piece on here. Find the spot you want to place this on, and just line it up the way you want it. The one thing I will say is sometimes these transfers will stick. So you, even before you even start working on it, so just kind of try and figure out where you want to put it before you actually put it down completely. And because once it's down, it is down, and you will not, it'll just make a big mess. You just need to make sure you put it where you want it. The next thing is that these transfers, they come with these plastic-like sticks that you can rub these transfers down so that it'll stick. You can check to see if your transfer has transferred onto the piece by just lifting up the plastic a little bit. You'll know when your transfer is where you're trying to put it when that plastic with the grid marks come up clear. And you'll actually be able to see as you're rubbing it on that it's coming off the plastic and going on to your project. So this right here is where it happened. I rubbed too hard and I pulled the plastic too hard. And as you can see, part of it rolled, the plastic rolled onto itself when I rubbed too hard, and part of the flower stuck to this plastic, and it's not going to stick to my project. But that's okay. It's not a big deal. So now I'm just going to add the other part that we cut up earlier to make it line up. So when I open, and when you fold these folding sides, it'll be okay and it won't rip apart because we cut it, and now we're just going to line it up and make it look like it's the way it's supposed to be. Now that we're finally done with our arm workout and the transfers, I'm going to sand a little bit more just to get a little bit more of that texture that's underneath. I won't sand the transfers, obviously, because that won't look good. All that hard work and that arm workout would have been for nothing. So I'm just going to sand around the edges and just get more of that texture and those colors that are underneath to pop out. Now that I'm done with the sanding and got it pretty much to how I want it to look as far as sanding goes, I'm going to seal this with Big Top. This is also from Debbie's Design Diary line. And this will be a protective barrier, not only for the paint, but for the transfers. And you really do want to seal these transfers because they're they could scratch off easily. And this is just an extra protective layer where it'll help for them to not to happen, Also, I realized that when you fold these, you stand this thing up and you fold it, the sides there you can see. So I added some of the blue that I had added onto the front and also the back. It's this ugly brown, so I've also added some of the blue and a little bit of the green that I added to the front. And also I am going to add that artistic painting roller onto the wet paint. Again, I'm not trying to line them up. I'm not trying to make it perfect. I want it to look like the front in a way where it's looks like it's been around for a while and it's been painted and some of it is coming off. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Sand a little bit off the top and off the side so the front again matches so the back matches the front with the worn out areas.